Hi, I'm Bella, and you're listening to Nova Thinking, a podcast with me, Bella Nova. I'm constantly overthinking about everything, but I believe you would like to hear my take on all things crazy in life. So keep listening and let's Nova Think together. Right. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the attachment I have to my phone. How without it brings me anxiety, and with it brings me anxiety, which results in a vicious cycle. I'm going to discuss why this is the case and what social media does to a 25-year-old in the world where everybody is sharing and posting the best versions of themselves. Social media is going to be a big topic of discussion here, but I'm also going to talk about the power of the phone in general, which is essentially a little screen device and honestly, nothing more. I'm also going to be talking about controlling myself and limiting my screen time and how this is a hard thing to control. My phone is literally a possession that has no rules. The rules are the ones I make for it, so why don't I do that more? We're hopefully going to end on how to get out of the cycle, or maybe why going in and out of this cycle and self-awareness and realization can be okay. So, coming to terms with this is embarrassing. Like, I'm addicted to my phone. Not the coolest thing to say. I'm shocked my phone doesn't have a pet name that I've made up for it, especially the way I caress it every night before I go to bed. Guys, it's not fun. This is the thing. I'm not that bad, but I'm pretty bad. Like, I absorb everything online, and I really am that annoying, chronically online person. Like, internet child is my name. Do not wear it out. Sometimes I really can't hold a conversation if I'm not talking about something that I've seen on Twitter, which is X, but I will always say Twitter. I'm never going to say X ever in my life. Yeah, just like stupid stuff that's trending now. Like, I've pretty much seen every meme going about every topic. Currently, this is real time, so I don't know when this is going to be released, but currently all I see on Twitter are the Brat memes because Charlie XCX released that album. It's crazy. It's the best thing ever. But I've seen too many memes and I've seen too many pictures and videos on Twitter about it all. I feel like I've seen films even though I haven't, like challenges, like all of that on Twitter, and TikTok went crazy, and I was watching every single bit of it and I actually hadn't seen the film, so that's fun. I would also like to think that I would able to do a full wig installation. The way I watch those videos is crazy. I feel like I know everything online. I know every trend, every joke, sorry, just checking the mic. I know every joke, every trend, creator, products to buy, popular songs and dances. I know everything in the news, and I'm obsessed. I have to know. And this is the sad part, is that I actually enjoy knowing. I enjoy seeing every single thing. And I get excited to log on to these worlds. But that's not right. I'm having a blast, and then I realise hours and hours have passed. Like, even now, I wanted to record this 2 hours ago, but then I didn't. So I'm doing it now because I have to push myself. But I have a time limit because I actually have to do something in about an hour. So that's stressful. And I hate that stress, and that stress brings me anxiety. And realizing the time has passed that has gone out of my control makes me really sad, because the time has like escaped me and I really have no control of getting that time back. But sometimes I feel like I deserve it. Like after a long day of work at where I work, and I'm on my feet all day and have to be bright and aware of everything around me, and I have to like talk to people. Coming home and I feel like I deserve to lose myself for a couple of hours in other people's lives and things going on. But the power of the phone is crazy. Like, it sucks you in. Doom scrolling is real. Not only that, I'm creating fake connections with people, places, and things. Parasocial relationships that are extremely out of touch. I've become reliant for my happiness through my phone. Like watching videos, scrolling on social media, it makes me happy, but it's not a sustainable happiness. It's not actual happiness either. So, what is it? What makes me go back and back to it? And this is something I'm going to touch on later, and I want to look into the actual science of it, because that's the only way. I really wanted to talk about this topic after watching an episode of this podcast that I watched called Emergency Intercom, for which, if you don't know, is a podcast by two American internet people who are amazing and very, 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 very funny. They're very open about their phone usage and will occasionally share their screen time for the week, and the hours are crazy. But I'm not outing you. Like, I'm not outing them. They know they're bad. Okay, before. I'm not like shutting them down. Like, it's all good. But seeing how they share that sort of addiction, it kind of made me feel better about the one that I have with my phone. Like, I get embarrassed, and then I realize that I'm not alone. And I think a lot of people, especially my age, I mean, even younger, but even people like, in their 20s and 30s, a lot of people suffer with this issue as well. And that's why I wanted to talk about it and share it and admit to the world how I feel about my phone and how it drives me crazy, because I feel like I'm quite a confident person, and I feel like I'm quite grounded, and when I have connections with people, friends and family, like, I do sort of stay present. But I think I'm missing the part where I stay present with myself, and I sort of don't give myself that time that I give to other people. And eventually you have to realize that you have to give a bit of time to yourself away from that. So, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's an issue that plagues a lot of people, especially young people like me. We've sort of grown up in this time where technology is evolving, social media has become very, very normal, and people are literally making careers out of it. Something that 50 years ago would not even be comprehensible. I would say it affects my generation and maybe the younger generations the most, because our phones have essentially surrounded us throughout our growing up years and developing years. I mean, I got my first phone when I was 12, which I think is crazy. Because at the time, I remember feeling very grown up and feeling like, I could have a phone. But I have to look back and realize that I was very young. I also have to look back and realize that the phone that I had when I was 12 is definitely not the same phone that I have now, obviously. But in terms of like how I interacted with my phone when I was 12 is very different to how I interact with my phone now. Back then, my phone was to literally call my parents, if I was like stuck somewhere, and honestly to Bluetooth songs to my friends and my brother, and record songs from the radio onto my phone and maybe take some silly pictures. That was literally it, because even though I had my phone, social media wasn't on it, so it was just a thing that existed. But then I got my iPod, and that's when shit really hit the fan. Getting an iPod at like, how old was I? I think I was about 13, 14. It was just like after I got my phone. And that's when around that time, I think it was like 2015, 2016, that's when Instagram started, and Twitter had been going around for quite some time before that, and obviously there was like MySpace, but I'm not of the MySpace generation. I feel like I'm more of the Instagram generation, to be fair. The main ones that I had were Instagram, and I had Twitter, and then I had those stupid things like Video Star and stuff, and YouTube and stuff. So those were like the main ones that I had. So that's when it really like encompassed my world then, I guess. So basically, yeah, I think the point of this podcast is to sort of digest this feeling of addiction and dependence, and how that is kind of a worry in our society in today's age as a person. And I'm trying not to overthink about it, but here we are. And yeah, I'm just gonna talk because that's what this podcast is all about. Yeah. So the anxiety it brings has to be talked about. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, the anxiety that a small little thing can create. And I feel like it drives me crazy. I've literally written the worst thing. It says, I feel like it drives me crazy. And that's how I feel. I think it comes from the constant looking and comparing of different people and their lives. Like, I'm really, really fascinated all the time at other people, that I start to lose the fascination for myself. I'm more interested in them and their successes. And because of this, I do start to believe, why isn't my life like this? Why does their everyday look so easy and fun? And why doesn't mine look like that? And then I start to believe that it's not fair. Like, my life's not fair. And I start to go, woe is me. And I start to go, why can't I do that? And I start to feel like I'm missing out, and that I'm behind in my successes, and my life is not cool. Like, it's weird to think that because I am absorbed by my phone so much and by other people's lives, that I start to believe that I'm not cool. Like, that is insane. I am cool. I'm the coolest. And I think that's wild. It's kind of rough as well. And no. Like, I'm really, really cool, guys. I don't know how much I have to press this, but I am cool. And I deserve to live a cool life, you know? Which I do. And I forget because I'm just on my phone. And so this like constant comparing and battling expectations of myself is where the anxiety starts. The constant chasing of this thing that I see that other people have drives me crazy. But sometimes that thing gets lost, and I end up forgetting what it was in the first place that I wanted. Like, I just get absorbed so much that I don't even realize what is the thing that I want. And I think that's the power of like how sucked in you can get. Not only that, but sometimes because I feel like my life isn't cool and fun and sexy and hot and successful, that I would actually rather lose myself in the lives of others. This is the one that I think is the biggest danger. This is where I lose the hours of time because I rather spend it in all of the other people's lives. I mean, sometimes it's fun to like learn new things about people and places, and follow stories and creators and their journeys and their ups and their downs. A lot of people go from nothing to something, and I think that's wonderful. And I watch a few video essays every now and again, like that's no harm. I guess it is specifically the lives that they post on social media, the pictures, the events, where they live, what clothes they wear, where they go on holiday, who their friends are, who their boyfriends are, who their girlfriends are, what books they read, where they work. I don't know if I said that already. Their hobbies, their family, their childhood, their future, everything. This is where, personally, I lose myself and I get sucked in. I really wanted to, in this next section, refer to some studies that I found. There is one from 2018, which is a very long time ago now, before COVID. Ooh, COVID. COVID has definitely affected this. I wish I had a study on that, but I don't. The one from 2018 is a Harvard study. It's a Harvard blog, actually. If you ever want to read it, I will put the link below. It's called Dopamine, Smartphones, and You, A Battle for Your Time. And there's quite a few things on here. I mean, it is based in America, and so it reads. If you've ever misplaced your phone, you may have experienced a mild state of panic until it's been found. About 73% of people claim to experience this unique flavour of anxiety, which makes sense when you consider that adults in the US spend an average of 2 to 4 hours per day tapping, typing, and swiping on their devices. That adds up to over 2,600 daily touches. Studies are beginning to show links between smartphone usage and increased levels of anxiety and depression, poor sleep quality, and increased risk of car injury and death. Yeah, because those stupid Americans can drive with their phone, whereas it's law here that you can't, which is the best thing ever. Because we should never drive with our phones, ever. So yeah, the main thing that they talk about here is dopamine, which is why I wanted to talk about this one, because in the last part I was saying how I genuinely was seeking happiness through the lives of other people, and I just wanted to figure out what this happiness was. So, dopamine is a chemical produced by our brains that plays a starring role in our motivating behavior. It gets released when we take a bite of delicious food, when we have sex, when we exercise, and importantly, when we have successful social interactions. In an evolutionary context, it rewards us for beneficial behaviors and motivates us to repeat them. We've got 4 major dopamine pathways or connections between different parts of the brain that act as highways for chemical messages called neurotransmitters. Each pathway has its own associative cognitive and motor movement processes. 3 of these pathways, the mesocortical, mesolimbic, and nigrostratical pathways are considered our reward pathways, and these have been shown to be dysfunctional in most cases of addiction. They're responsible for the release of dopamine in various parts of the brain, which shapes the activity of those areas. The 4th, the tuberoinfundibular pathway, regulates the release of a hormone called prolactin that is required for milk production. What the heck? Okay. While the reward pathways are distinct in their anatomical organization, all 3 become active when anticipating or experiencing rewarding events. In particular, they reinforce the association between a particular stimulus or sequence of behaviors and the feel-good reward that follows. Every time a response to a stimulus results in a reward, these associations become stronger through a process called long-term potentiation. This process strengthens frequently used connections between brain cells called neurons and increasing the intensity at which they respond to a particular stimuli. So positive social stimuli will similarly result in a release of dopamine, reinforcing whatever behavior preceded it. Cognitive neuroscientists have shown that rewarding social stimuli, laughing faces, positive recognition from our peers, messages from loved ones, activate the same dopaminergic I can't speak. Smartphones have always provided us with a virtually unlimited supply of social stimuli, both positive and negative. Every notification, whether it's a text message, a like on Instagram, or a Facebook notification, has the potential to be a positive social stimulus and dopamine influx. So it is literally our brain, like if we're constantly feeding into the feed of our phone, notifications, likes, sharing, commenting, watching, scrolling, we're constantly hit, by stimuli all the time. And then because these give us quick dopamine hits, we believe that it is rewarding, and I feel like then we just like continue doing it, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that I really thought I could just go off the bat with that, but that was really fucking hard to read, if anybody noticed the struggle I had. But it's kind of crazy if you go into the science of it, how our brain works. And because of these quick dopamine hits, the algorithm, the social media apps itself know this, and they do it back to us. We react and they react back, and we react and they react back, and it's back and forth. But the main goal is to keep us on, keep us watching and liking, keep us entertained, keep us happy. And that's why, if you like, you may have a certain feed for yourself because those are the certain things that make you happy. And that's why it's really scary when really important stuff gets shadow banned or gets taken away or becomes unavailable for people to see because of the algorithm trying to feed us other things to block that. A really good example is this creator called Jamila Jamil. She is an actress and she talks a lot about feminist issues, body issues. She is a really good speaker in general. A lot of people find her annoying, but I feel like that's just like a negative sort of narrative because she's an outspoken woman, which is generally the case. And it's kind of crazy because I follow her on Instagram, and then sometimes I don't see her posts a lot. The only posts I see are the ones where she is in a top with like her cleavage out, but she's doing it on purpose to revoke the algorithm because she knows she's being shadow banned for all the other posts that she does, which are mainly just like text box with her writing about a certain issue or whatever. And I think when she started to do it, that's when I really started to realize the power that my feed has and the power that the feed has of us as well. But it's quite scary, I mean, to think that more and more children, I'm 25 and I'm this conversation that we're having, and me in general, I'm very self-aware, if you couldn't tell. But if people aren't self-aware and they don't know the power of their phone, like children basically, and especially when it comes to beauty standards, that's when, if you have an addiction, it can be really, really scary, because there becomes a certain point where you genuinely believe your phone. You believe that what it's saying to you is the right thing, but it's more the thing that you want to hear. And when you can't find that anywhere else in life, and you're trying to search for that somewhere else, whether it be in work or in friends or relationships, when you have that one thing telling you, which is your phone, telling you all these things and how you should live, yeah, the addiction gets scary. And that's when it brings anxieties. That's when it brings, toxic ways of living, toxic femininities and toxic masculinities, toxic relationships, toxic friendships, because you just believe that is the way. When you're addicted to something, you are dependent. You're in love. And yeah, it's quite sad to talk about it. And I feel like a lot of people know, but I feel like sometimes it's good to share, because I feel like a lot of people are probably quite lonely in this and don't really want to admit that they're missing something in their life. That's why they want to go on their phone. That's why I know I have it's not the main reason why I believe that I'm on my phone, and if I'm missing things in general, it's more for like a work thing and a life thing in general, to be fair. I'm very blessed and very fortunate to live the way that I live, have the friends and family and relationships that I have. But you can't help but compare. And I think I've always been a bit like that, though. I think I've always been striving for better and wanting better. I think that's where my addiction lies, because I'm constantly just like seeking more and more and more rather than being satisfied. I find it really hard to be satisfied. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but sometimes I feel like I'm looking for satisfaction in a lot of things all the time, and then I've got very high expectations, which can be quite scary. Yeah, this just a warning, a heads up in general. This podcast is vulnerable. It's me in my bed talking about my brain and my life and my friends and family. And I'm willing to be vulnerable because I'm willing to help people. I'm also willing to take critiques as well and learn. That's what it's all about. It's just starting a conversation and learning and sharing, however vulnerable and stupid it is. So it's not just social media that influences my addictions to my phone. The other thing just is the actual attachment. Like, I'm attached to it all the time. It's my go-to thing that I carry every single day when I leave the house to work. Outside of social media, I'm still very dependent on my phone. The one thing is that it is literally the abundance of information, which is crazy. From Googling recipes to finding my way home, it has the answer to everything. I'm no longer looking for answers anywhere else. I'm not thinking for myself. I'm depending that my phone will give me the right answer all the time, which I feel like I've really felt in the trap for, because if someone asks me my opinion about something, I will generally just say what is trending on social media. If someone really likes something, then I will say that I like it. But recently I've come out of that, because you end up having conversation, and the more that you start to invest in something and make it your passion, you will fight for that in a conversation with someone. If you really like a film, you're really passionate about a piece of music or a play or a musical or a book, and someone says it's bad, you have to fight for your opinion and say no, it's good, or fight for your opinion that it's bad. I truly believe that My Year of Rest and Relaxation is the worst book, and I will stand by that opinion. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm passionate about reading and books, and I don't want anybody to disagree with me. I'm joking. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but that's my opinion. It's important to have your own opinions and not let your phone give you the opinion that you think is right. Another thing is the constant connection it offers. Because of this, I feel like I am entitled for anyone in my life to answer me as soon as I message. I'm looking and checking my notifications constantly. Who's messaged in the group chat? Who's liked my Instagram post? Who's matched with me on Hinge? When I see a notification pop up, it gives me a boost of serotonin, which is embarrassing and humiliating to admit. I'm not afraid to admit it because from admitting, I'm hoping to bring awareness, and hopefully I'm not the only one that feels this way. And from our previous discussion about dopamine, I'm making aware there is a genuine psychology to this and why I feel like this. And from the discussion of dopamine to seeking happiness, the thing I'm kind of longing for is a constant connection. I want it always. If I'm constantly seeking it this way, it's highlighting that I don't really have a good amount of it in my current reality, which is super sad and depressing. I know, but I'm learning. And I'm learning to seek this in reality, finding my own solutions, my own connections, and making sure to search for serotonin in the real world by doing things that actually give me serotonin, like seeing friends, going to watch a film or a gig, or just going for a walk. I say that I'm constantly seeking a connection. I don't mean that in the sense that I have no friends, because I do, and I have my family. I think I'm just constantly seeking a connection with like everything. I think I want to be connected to everything all the time. I think it comes from my obsession with knowing everything and wanting to know everything all the time and doing everything. And I think I want to be connected to everything at all times, which is not right. But yeah, I just wanted to say before all my friends come at me and saying that I'm constantly seeking connection as if I have no friends. I do have friends. And I do have genuine connections. And when I go on my phone, I think I believe that I don't. But in actual fact, I do. At the end of the day, these are going to be the boosted serotonins, like going for a walk and going to a gig. They're going to be more fulfilling. Because just seeing a little thing pop up on my phone makes me happy, but only for a minute. A second even. I know it sounds like I suffer really badly, but this isn't the case. Like I said before, I'm extremely self-aware, and that's how I can write this and discuss this. But there might be people out there that don't know or are just struggling, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make this episode is to make others feel like they're not alone. Having addictions is really lonely, and you feel like an alien. And admitting it to people, admitting your addictions to the outside world is scary. But just I want to let you know that if you do feel this way, it is totally okay. You're completely justified because technology is crazy and it's not you, it's them. But I also don't want to be this like self-help guru or someone that has all the answers. I'm just a girl in my bed talking. And I just wanted to start a conversation and bring attention to this feeling. In reality, it's the way these phones are designed that makes us feel like this. We're evolved so much and technology has never been more advanced than it is. So it's no surprise we've become like this. The days are gone where we would fill our attention by going out and playing in the street with our bikes, playing games, creating dance routines, not for TikTok, but for our parents. And just being in touch more with human connections. So we can't blame ourselves, but we can start taking back control if we want to. The party is outside, it's not on the screens. And I definitely took that from a video, which is ironic, but it really works here, so please go along with it. So although being addicted to my phone has caused me to sometimes watch hours of time go by without me doing anything, I'm trying to be better, keep busy, doing activities, going outside, just making sure the day is filled with things to do rather than staying inside, laying on my bed on my phone. But as I write this, as I record this, there has been a shift, and I need to address this as it is important and a great reflection and discussion point about social media. My addiction to my phone is keeping me informed, educated, and aware of what is going on around the world. Nothing is more serious and needs more attention than the genocide that is happening in Palestine. The power of social media is massive in cases like this. My generation has great power to stand up, share information, and keep people aware and more informed than ever. Sharing ways to donate and help in any form to people who desperately need it. So from sitting on my phone for about 2 to 3 hours, I was able to use filters, sounds, comments, likes, and shares to spread messages, spread GoFundMe pages, and actually support creators who are raising money for the people in Palestine, which is crazy. This would have never happened 10 years ago. When I first downloaded the TikTok app in 2020, I did not think it would hold this power. If you feed the algorithm this way, it works. The more you follow, share, and like, the more those kind of videos turn up. The more you engage with a certain type of media, the more of that media will show up on your page. And for someone that wants to help in any amount of small way, for someone that wants to keep informed and to not be ignorant as to what is happening in the world, this is really helpful. It's really weird, but it feels like TikTok is helping in a weird way. They want us to see it or to keep engaging and liking and sharing. Now, it's super easy to swipe away from these videos. Literally all you have to do is that. Like when it becomes all too much. But we really hold that privilege highly above the devastation that is happening in front of people every day, in which they can't scroll away from. If I wanted to, I could just turn off my phone, whereas the people in Palestine cannot escape the brutality happening to them. I understand for some people it might be too much, but after sharing my insecurity and my addictions, the way it rules my life and takes control of my actions, and the way I'm openly talking about an unhealthy habit, I cannot look away. I clearly know what's going on if I'm addicted to my phone. I'm addicted to knowing and sharing, and therefore I'm addicted to trying to interact and help via social media. Just try and stay informed and engaging in content that will be beneficial for people who are struggling. So in this sense, social media has become a great power to bring attention and to keep people engaged. In the sense that algorithm, if you choose to engage, will benefit those struggling. If you choose to engage, with this video, then the message goes out more and people become more engaged. I'm not asking you to share it or whatever, but I'm just saying it's important to bring this to light in every aspect. And yeah, I'm going to put some stuff in the bio for people to read, people to engage, creators. I'm going to put a list of creators, actually. I think that's the best thing to do. I'm going to put a list of creators in my bio that are actually creating content that helps. If I had the money, if I had the viewership, if I had, all the things, then I would, but I'm instead going to just share because it's better to share. So, to bring this to an end, I'm aware of my addiction and the anxiety it brings me. I'm extremely self-aware of how it can be destructive to stare at a screen all day, trying to compare myself to millions and millions of people. And so I make sure to keep a note of when I feel like I want my phone and why I want to go on it. I make sure to find a healthy balance and to make sure to take myself out of the online world and into reality. Because at the end of the day, life isn't joyous, glamorous, shiny, happy, hot, sexy, cool all the time. It definitely can be, and it's important to be present in these moments, but it's important to realize that most days are kind of mid. Most days you just wake up and you have the same thing every day, or you do the same thing every day, and that's it. But that's okay, guys. That's okay. That's life. Like actual life. Reality. It's real, and that's all good. But it's important to recognize being addicted can have its benefits, like staying informed and being present in issues. And even though it might be a small change, it's good to recognize what's going on and ways to help. Like the BLM movement was and still is huge on social media, as well as #MeToo campaigns. There are many GoFundMe pages helping people out with transitioning or medical bills, and they are able to spread those messages via social media. And of course, there's lots of information and pages to support the people of Palestine who are suffering. I don't want to end on a solemn note, but it's important to talk about these issues. I'm literally creating a platform here, and it's stupid that if I don't have a big platform at all, but I want to use it and hopefully bring attention as well as talk about other issues. I didn't do a journalism degree for no reason. I like the news. I like informing people. And this is what I'm doing. And yeah, being addicted to my phone can be damaging. But it's just important to be self-aware, to take breaks and be present. If you do have days though where you can't escape, don't punish yourself, because it's literally a science and social media works its way to do that to you. So don't beat yourself up. Just put it away, go to bed, wake up the next day, actively do something, even if it is for like an hour or two away from your phone. It's still really good. And then those hours become more hours. And then, you just have like a more of a better connection and relationship to your phone. I have no medical degree, guys. No scientific knowledge. Just a girl. Thank you so much for listening to me dwell in my thoughts. This was a very vulnerable one, but I really enjoyed. And if you enjoyed, you can like, follow, let me know what you think about what I've said in the comments. And yeah, join me next time for more thinking, overthinking, and overthinking. And let's not try to think about this before we go to bed. Bye.